Hey Cape Town, it's Mayor Jordan Hill-Lewis here. In this year's draft city budget, we're making some important changes to our city's tariff structure as we keep building towards making Cape Town a city of hope for all. In this video, I'm going to set out these changes in some detail to answer some frequently asked questions and help you, the public, to participate in our budget process. Now, the first thing that you'll notice is that these reforms will bring meaningful relief for lower income households in particular. And I'll set out why that is and how we've achieved that. At the same time, these changes are also going to help the city to invest in infrastructure and service delivery long into the future to make Cape Town an even better place to live for everyone, especially those living in townships and poorer communities where infrastructure and services are needed the most. So here is a brief rundown of the changes. Let's start with electricity. Eskom's increase to municipalities across South Africa is 11.32%. But the good news is, city customers here in Cape Town will see an increase of just 2% on average. 11.32 nationally, 2% in Cape Town. City customers will therefore save a really meaningful 9.32% in electricity prices on average this year. That's big. We've made this possible by our comprehensive review of the electricity tariff structure. For the past 3 decades in Cape Town, around 10% of the cost of each electricity unit that you bought cross-subsidized, in other words, helped to fund other city services like area cleaning. This system worked well when electricity was much cheaper, but it will now be discontinued, given that Eskom electricity now costs over 400% more than it did back in 2004. So as you can see in the graphic, the cost of electricity will now only fund the cost of running Cape Town's grid and streetlights, our load shedding protection, and the cost of buying power from Eskom. Cape Town has also made efforts unmatched by any other city in South Africa in helping to protect our lifeline customers. Our lifeline customers refer to our lowest tariff, which is highly subsidized. In 2023, the city raised the number of units that lifeline customers can buy at a cheaper subsidized rate, from 350 units all the way up to 600 units per month. That's been running for the last 2 years already. Thanks to those changes, Lifeline customers using 600 units a month will still pay roughly the same today and even next year as they did 3 years ago. So we've really helped our Lifeline customers and protected them. Customers also need to stay within the 450 unit monthly average over 12 months to remain on the Lifeline tariff. But that's not all we do. We also cast our net wider and make it as easy as possible to qualify for that subsidized Lifeline tariff, easier than anywhere else in the country. We have the highest property value qualifying threshold at 500,000 Rand, the highest monthly household income threshold at 7,500 Rand, and the best deal for pensioners and social grant recipients who qualify for Lifeline up to 22,000 Rand monthly income for pensioners. So that's electricity. Now let's turn our attention to water and sanitation. Very important for the future of our city. This year there are 2 key changes in water and sanitation tariffs from July 2025. The first change is that lower income households will experience and will see noticeable relief in their bills. This is because fixed charges will now be determined by your property value and not by your meter connection size. Over the years as mayor, this has been one of the most common complaints that I've received. The way that it works at the moment is that households are charged a particular fixed charge for water based on the size of your water meter connection. The problem is this, as many of you have pointed out over time. At the moment, a well-off household and a low-income household who have the same connection size, usually 15 millimeters, pay exactly the same monthly fixed charge. Now we're changing that, and I hope that many will be relieved by that. The fixed charge will now be determined by your property value, resulting in an immediate and noticeable saving for the lower income household in that example. Property value remains one of the most objective ways to determine fair contributions, both in South Africa and across the world. So that's the first important positive change. The second change is that monthly sanitation charges will now include a fixed portion. But importantly, and this is crucial for everyone to understand, the fixed portion in your monthly sanitation charge is entirely offset by a reduction in charge for sanitation volumes. So the way that you will notice this on your bill is that you will see that you will pay less on the varying portion for sewage charges monthly, and you will now see the new fixed portion. But overall, you're still going to be pretty even. Every rand of your water and sanitation contribution helps to fund the huge investments that we're making in the city in water security and more dignified water and sanitation for all long into the future. That's how we're going to guarantee that Cape Town remains successful. Now let's turn to waste management, another crucial service that the city provides. This year there is a change in how the city will reflect waste management charges on your bills from July 2025. Previously, you will have seen that only refuse removal was explicitly shown on your bill. Now, residents will see both refuse and city-wide cleaning reflected separately on your bill. Important, this is not an additional or new expense to you as a resident and customer. The lowering of electricity's contribution to other service delivery, that cross-subsidization I spoke of earlier, will fully buffer the financial impact of this citywide cleaning tariff. The citywide cleaning tariff that you will see on your bill is therefore not a new charge, but merely a clearer and more transparent way in how the city is helping customers to understand exactly how they are funding this service. Then on property rates. I'm pleased to let you know that Cape Town's property rates remain the lowest in South Africa for every category of property. Residential property, commercial property, industrial property, we are the lowest in South Africa, based on a rate in the rand comparison, which is the formula used nationally to calculate property rates. This year, our rates will increase by 7.96%, mainly to fund a massive new rollout of over 500 additional law enforcement and Metro Police officers to every ward in our city. Even after this increase is applied, Cape Town's property rates will remain below even last year's rates levels in all other cities in South Africa. So our rates this year, even after the increase, are still cheaper than every other city's rates last year, even before their increases. This increase is above inflation, but will help the city of Cape Town make record investments to position our metro as the city of hope, where ratepayers help to fund a successful city rather than see their rands go into a black hole, as you see happening in so many other cities around our country. Our investments include the over 500 new offices I mentioned earlier, plus a South African record infrastructure investment of 39 billion rand over the next 3 years. To put that in perspective, that is more than all three of the Gauteng metros combined. That is how much we are investing in new infrastructure here in Cape Town. And 75% of that infrastructure spend is directly benefiting lower income households in our city. For every 1 rand of property rates, you are helping to fund Finally, I want to talk about Cape Town's social package to support those households in need. with 5.2 billion rand in support, including rates rebates and indigent relief. Our city already has the highest free water allocation of all South Africa's cities, at 15 kilolitres a month of free water. We also have the widest criteria for 100% rates rebate, available to all properties under 450,000 or all households with a household income under 7,500 rand a month. More pensioners and social grant recipients are also able to benefit from rates rebates because we've raised the threshold at which you qualify from 17,500 to 22,000 total monthly household income. And for property ratepayers, all residential properties under 5 million rand in value get the first 450,000 rand of your property value rates free. Again, this is the highest rebate of all South Africa's metros. So with plenty of structural changes to Cape Town's tariffs, we've created a really innovative way for households and residents to calculate their new monthly bills from July 2025. If you want to understand how your household bill will change come the 1st of July, simply check out our innovative new calculator on our city's website, www.capetown.gov.za. On the landing page, you can click on our budget trending box for all the information you need. I really invite you to comment on your city budget before the 2nd of May 2025. Visit our webpage and social media pages for info on how to comment and our public meeting venues. We will meaningfully consider all constructive inputs ahead of compiling our final budget. Thank you.